And we're live.
Yay!
Woo!
Podcast.
Yep.
Happy Metroid Dread night, Eve.
I'll get to enjoy it a week from now.
Happy
Hooray!
Dread-eve.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really fucking busy with editing. Like I'm gonna get like small breaks, basically. That's it. So I probably don't get to sit down and give it an actual proper playthrough until like Tuesday.
I'll probably play like a little bit of it over the weekend, but I have like some plane trips coming up next week, so I'm gonna get some good sit down time with that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But what's new with you guys? How's your last week been?
Busy. To be
Yeah,
honest. Yeah,
working?
just I feel like I'm jumping from work thing to work thing to work thing at this point.
That's not
But
bad. Bringing in that cash.
yeah, I guess, yeah, but the weather's dropping now, so it's actually starting to get cold. I think we hit below freezing last night.
We did. I had
Oh,
frost on
geez.
my windshield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
weather's
gonna be in
changing.
BC, and my mom keeps saying like, bring a rain jacket. It's supposed to be raining, and I'm like, I can't even remember the last time I felt rain.
Weird.
Since I live in like a desert or a fire basically at all times.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be in BC. That's fun. Gonna go see the new Bond when I'm up there because we marathoned all Daniel Craig Bond movies over the last couple of weeks to get ready.
Nice.
Skyfall is still the best one in my opinion.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
Skyfall was pretty good.
I Skyfall quite a bit. I ended up liking Spectre more than I remembered.
Never seen it.
Which one?
Spectre, the most recent one.
Oh yeah,
After
Spectre was all right.
Fourth one.
I don't think I liked it as much as Skyfall, but it was fun.
Yeah, where do you sit on the first two?
The first two Daniel Craig's.
Yeah.
Casino's the best one out of those two.
Okay. How would you rank the four?
Quantum's the worst.
Yeah.
I'd say worst to best probably Quantum, Spectre. I almost feel like Casino and Skyfall are tied, but I would probably give it slightly more to Skyfall.
Okay. That's
Maybe like a notch more.
I think I just ended up enjoying Spectre more than Casino myself. They get more like
Casino,
bombastic
as someone who
action.
followed James Bond movies for a long time, like Casino felt so fresh at release. So I
Sure.
think that's why it ranks so high for me still.
Sure. Yeah.
That
But
and
yeah, so my list would
Daniel
be-
Craig didn't hate the role yet, so he still seemed like he had some happiness in him.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what's going to happen with the next one. It was funny watching Spectre because when Spectre came out, it was being touted as the last one
Yeah.
for Craig. And in the movie, like everything accumulates to this. Like the villain's like, look, I've been the puppet master of these last three films. So they really did try to make it like a finale. So now I'm curious. They're gonna do that like again further, which just seems like it's gonna be a little odd, but who knows? It's getting great reviews.
Yeah, I mean, Skyfall seemed like the last one, and then this seemed like the last one, and then the previous one seemed like the last one. And Craig said he wanted to stop the role since like Skyfall. So
Yeah, I think that's true. True. Yeah. Skyfall's so cool with that like Home Alone booby trap fight in the
Yeah.
mansion at the
yeah, it
end.
is
That's so
basically
cool.
Home Alone, isn't it? I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a deadly Home Alone. That sniper fight in Asia, that's a cool one. I just like that's a great movie. Oh, the Komodo dragons, oh, so good, so good. Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna go see that when I'm in Canada, and then I'll report back.
Yeah.
Yep,
That one's only in theaters, right? It's not going to any streaming service.
correct.
Because I've seen the past couple Bond movies in theaters on release day or pretty close to, and this is gonna be the first one I'm gonna miss out on in a while. It's just because
Are
I
you like
just
a big
don't.
Bond fan?
Yeah, I got them
Oh,
all.
okay. Wow. I've actually only seen the Craig ones.
Uh, See, the Craig ones are so different. It's so hard to recommend any other ones because obviously the Connery and Moore ones are more cheesy.
Yeah.
maybe you'll like the Timothy Dalton ones because there's more serious, but it's also a bit more overacting.
I don't know. I've never seen
I
them.
don't know. It's. I feel like maybe give like the best one of each other Bond a try and see if it sticks for you. I liked Brosnan a lot because Brosnan was when I got into the series,
Yeah.
but I can definitely see he's not everyone's cup of tea.
Already land on the Bond.
I don't like Bond films generally, unless they're like better than mediocre. So every Bond has like a movie that I like associated with him, at least. I would say I haven't revisited Casino Royale with Daniel Craig because I'm afraid I might like see things that I don't like about it. I remember liking it, so I want to keep it that way. I have seen Skyfall a few times, and that's easily one of my favorites, just in general.
Cool.
Yeah.
But so Jonathan, you were saying you've gone to the theater each time. Are you gonna do that for this one or no?
No, I still don't feel comfortable going to theaters yet.
Sure. I don't blame you being in Calgary. I do not blame you one bit.
Yeah, I haven't heard the numbers for the past week. I'm almost afraid to. So
At this point, I'm just kind of hoping I'm gonna get my booster shot before I come up to Calgary for Christmas. That would help a lot.
it's
Anyway.
slightly down.
Let's talk about some video games. How about that? And Paul, why don't we start with you? What have you been
On
playing?
the top-down perspective.
Yeah, I was waiting for
Shit.
Yeah.
Oh, you're totally right. This is the top-down perspective. It's also October 7th, and also I'm Sean Booker.
I'm Paul Fleck.
I'm John Wheeler.
Oh, I feel better now. Okay.
There we go. Now it feels proper.
Now, what have you been playing?
That feels
please?
proper. I've been continuing with New World. I've been basically waiting for Metroid Dread to come out. I started looking into Alan Wake Remastered, and then I saw some comparisons. I'm like, this is literally the PC version of Alan Wake with a different, with better facial animations. So I'm gonna save the $30.
I picked it up because I love Alan Wake. And
Sure.
I would love to see that HDR on the nice screen, but I was like, I have to wait until I'm back because otherwise I'm going to play like 40 minutes of this game and then have to put it down.
Sure. Yeah. It's not a long game, but you're right. You need more than 40 minutes. That is true. I'm excited to revisit that at some point, and then American Nightmare as well. And that was kind of the impetus too of I already have both of these on Steam. Can I make them look better? Oh yeah, I just have to do this, and they have HBAO Plus and all the bells and whistles, and it looks fine. So I'm gonna revisit those at some point.
There's some new secrets in the remaster though.
Yeah, that's what YouTube will be for.
Yes, they are on YouTube and stuff. You can already go watch them. But some hints towards the expanded universe, which as a big Remedy fan, I'm just eating that stuff up.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if they didn't like throw Easter eggs or somehow retcon some stuff into the bigger world that they created after. That just makes sense to me. So that's cool that they did that. So yeah, I've been just biding my time with New World. Me and a buddy still kind of leapfrogging. He gets a little bit further, then logs off for a while. I come home after work and I do a little bit while listening to podcasts or whatever. It's fine. Whoever created the quests in that game is stupid because they're terrible. It's terrible quest design, but the world is fun to play in, so it kind of doesn't matter. It just seems weird that I'm doing stuff that like wasn't even this bad in World of Warcraft in 2004 in 2021, but what can you do? Kind of the bigger surprise is it's Halloween month, so happy October to everybody.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween. And Very Little Nightmares is out on mobile devices, and I like that series, so I wanted to check that out. Kind of a prequel, I guess it is, if you want to keep counted in the canon. What it actually is on the phone is a mini puzzle game, essentially. You go into a room and you have to do puzzles to move on to the next room. There's about 18 in total. There's a little secrets that are nods to the monsters or villains in the main game series, which are Jack in the Boxes. So that's kind of cute, and they're somewhat hidden, but not too hard to find if you're looking for them. And more than anything, it just has the aesthetics of Little Nightmares, where it's this is hand drawn instead of like a claymation thing, so that's kind of cool, and it's just better for phone use and for like readability in general. The way you play is basically just tapping on the screen where you want Raincoat Kid to go, and then if they're near something they can interact with, you tap on the thing that they can interact with for them to do the thing. And it's a lot of basic puzzles of like pushing boxes so you can reach higher ledges, or grabbing something so you can reach something that's too high for you to grab normally, or grabbing onto something that will move you through a part that you couldn't move through before. And you have weird and scary things either around while you're doing it that you're trying to sneak around, or you're running from because they're chasing you. Basically, if you've played a Little Nightmares game, this is a small version of it on your phone that you can play. It's about $5, I believe. I've been playing it because I have a free trial for the Play Pass, which is Game Pass for Android games, essentially. It's very, very cool. If you like that series and you have a mobile device, I think it's worth checking into. I think it's worth the $5. It ends on a kind of sour note. They ask you to do some a pretty tight run section where you're running away from a monster in one of the last levels, not the last one, but I think like second or third or something. And that game is not made for you to be moving fast and dodging stuff at the same time, because the pathing is kind of shitty. It's meant for slow puzzles and thinking your way through stuff. So that's kind of a bummer. Ends on a little bit of a sour note, but there's some cool stuff in there, and I definitely highly recommend it. I mean, next week is going to be the big one for Metroid for me to talk about, so that's all I've been doing this week.
I think this is the first time I've heard of someone actually using the Play Pass. Is there what's the merits to that service? Is there anything good on there besides Very Little Nightmares?
I mean, any of the games that are games that you would buy normally are on there, basically. So if you want more than just like free-to-play gacha games and like the games and apps that developers have put time into and think that you should pay for, but you want to play them for a low price every month, that's probably the thing you would look into.
I'm assuming it's just a selection that's in there, not everything, right?
Yeah, no, it's not everything. Like, I don't think Square Enix games, for example, are in there, because those are like $20 games and apps, and I'm sure they wouldn't allow that. If you give me a second, I'll open it and I can tell you some stuff that's in there.
I'm just curious, like some of the highlights, like is Monument Valley in there?
Sure, that's a good question. Play Pass. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. I haven't heard of a lot of these. So we have the Enchanted Cave, or 2 specifically. Hole Down, The Bonfire.
That's a good one.
Game Dev Tycoon.
Okay.
Let's see what else we have. I'm just seeing what's under the spotlight stuff. Oh, Meteor Fall. Okay. That game's pretty good. Okay, Golf is on here. Like stuff that I've never heard of. Dungeon Warfare, Doom and Destiny. Titan Quest is on here. That's a decent ARPG game. Mini Metro's on here.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
There's a lot of stuff. A lot of card games on here. Yeah, there's some stuff on there. I think it's like, what is it, $10 a month or something like that, which is a little high. Maybe it's $5 a month. That seems more likely.
There's no way, because I know Apple Arcade is $5 a month.
I think it's $5 a month. Basically, I only signed up for it because this game was on there, and I got a trial to try it out.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's it.
All right, John.
All right, I only played one game really this week. Originally it was for work, but then I actually really liked it, so I kept playing it. Last week, Hot Wheels Unleashed came out. This is a new Hot Wheels game, and I did a promo for it on Saturday. But it turns out it's basically just Trackmania, but Hot Wheels themed. Yeah. So I got super into it. You can make custom tracks, and they're absolutely ridiculous. A bunch of different Hot Wheels vehicles are in there, including a bunch of licensed properties like Knight Rider, The Back to the Future DeLorean, the Turtles van, the Batmobile, just a Snoopy driving on top of his doghouse, and they're adding like a
Red
bunch in
Baron?
DLC. No, Red Baron's who he has to fight.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
It's usually Snoopy versus the Red Baron.
That's right. You're right.
But yeah, there's just like a bunch of just like original Hot Wheels that they've had like over the years in the game. It's a bit floaty, so like they give you the actual weight of a Hot Wheels, so like any like proper bump will throw you out of the arena, which kind of sucks at times. But some of the stuff you can do is actually really funny. You can basically like if you can fly off the track with a boost, you can find other parts of the track to land on, and if there's like not a checkpoint there, you can keep going. So you can
Some
basically make your
classic
own
Mario
shortcuts.
Kart.
There's some
secrets right
crazy
there.
stuff you can do. Like in midair, it kind of controls like Rocket League with boosting. So you can just do
Interesting.
like a bunch of like weird things. You can make tracks like where you have to flip your car upside down to land on the road and stuff like that. We've been playing it a bunch on stream. It's actually just been a blast.
I've been hearing a bunch of people talking about this, which is just surprising because it's a Hot Wheels game.
Yeah, but no, it has been genuinely fun. And like I said, Trackmania, very similar to that. Downside is though, there's a lot of weird things missing that I feel should be in there. Like there's no sorting feature for community tracks, which is stupid. So you can only access like you have to go through the list in order of release from like most recent to latest. And I don't know if there's a cap on that. It's only pseudo crossplay. PS4 and PS5 can play together. Xbox One and Xbox X can play together. And I don't know if there's a Switch version I don't know if there's an Epic version, but I know that the Steam version is there, and like also same for the Switch ones. They all play by themselves.
Okay, so
So
like within family of consoles.
within family of consoles, yeah.
I mean, I would
Which
just
is a
call that
bummer.
no crossplay.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah. Bummer.
And the tracks you make in one version don't show up in the other, which is also a bummer.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a bunch of like, oh, you're so close. A lot of so closes on this. Which makes me wonder if most of the budget went into the licensing versus the actual production. But like, it does feel like if they were given a bit more budget or if they're given time during DLC, this would be like an incredible recommendation.
Yeah, I'm surprised if they'll like do anything with it because this is probably the most like people have talked about a Hot Wheels game like ever.
Yeah, some of the GameCube era ones were usually pretty well regarded by kids, but like I've heard a lot of adults talking about this one. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
A minute ago, you said there's some Hot Wheel cars you would remember. Are you telling me there are iconic Hot Wheel cars for you?
for me personally, no, but like they literally take a bunch. Like I had a bunch of people who were excited that Acceleracers were in the game, and I'm like, I have no idea what that is.
I don't know what that is.
And they were like, yeah, there was like a movie for it and like a 4-part miniseries or something. Like people were just like,
All right.
people in my audience were
What?
just like, yeah, we love this stuff. I'm just like, I have no idea what this is, but
Hot Wheel
cool.
Accelerators. Oh, with an inner capped R. There's a bunch
Yeah.
of Hot Wheels. A lot of 2005 stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was just a part of Hot Wheels I just missed out on. But yeah, no, there were people genuinely excited in my stream for it.
Cool. Well, good for them. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Other than that, that's all I've been playing. Because again, I'm also waiting for Dread. It's just I've been busy with editing that I'm probably not going to get a chance to touch it for a couple days.
All 4 Hot Wheels Acceleracers movies came out in 2005.
Weird.
It must have been
Put
just
out
like a
4
mini
of
series.
these in 1 year.
Interesting.
We got Ignition, The Speed of Silence, which is a fantastic
It's a
name.
good
That's
name.
a great name. Yeah.
Breaking Point, and The Ultimate Race.
Oh, you got to have the Ultimate Race.
That's pretty good.
Paul, I'm not saying we have to do an episode of TVP on one of these, but maybe
my
we should
God.
seriously consider doing an episode on one of these.
We should put it in the bin for sure for an off week
God.
Bookmark this page. See how easy it is to
to
Find
find
them.
this
find
shit.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's all you played, right?
Yep. Other than a lot of Super Metroid.
Yeah, just getting ready, practicing.
That's what I've been editing too. So, case in point, right now.
I finished Tales of Arise.
Ooh.
Well,
Oh, hey, nice.
I beat Tales of Arise.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, no way you completed it. Those usually have like a long post game.
I don't know how long the post game in this one is. It doesn't seem terribly bad. So they do unlock basically one multi-stage quest after you beat it that I was like, okay, I'll go through this. However, each stage, the like level recommendation of like the guide I was looking at increases by your character levels by like 5, and it's like, oh, you just want me to grind a whole bunch now to be able to do this final like 6-part quest. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Um, I did like the first part where I was just a little under leveled and I managed to squeak by, and then they're like, all right, make sure you're 5 levels higher than what you should have been. And I'm like, that's like 7 levels, man. I don't think it's gonna happen. Um, I do still have it installed. It might be a thing I just put on in the background and actually do some grinding. I'm not sure how much I want to do that, but at least I beat the campaign. So I'm done with it for now, which is nice to say.
Cool. Good for
I
you.
wanted to talk about a board game kind of briefly that I played both
Oh.
last weekend and the weekend before. I was going to talk about it last week when I totally forgot about it because this board game is pretty awesome. It's called The Initiative. And it's a co-op board game where you and up to 4 friends are you are a set of 4 teenagers in the 90s who found a board game at a yard sale.
This is just Jumanji you're describing so far.
Oh, I've heard of this game.
You don't
Okay.
go into the board game. There's nothing involving that or whatever or stuff coming out of the board game, but the board game has like it's all about code breaking and solving riddles and mysteries. And much like if you're familiar with like the legacy kinds of board games where there's like a process of progression each time you play it, this one has that as well. There's 14 missions. You can't replay any of them because you'll just know the answer. But like I've had the same group of people come over twice now, and we've done 5 missions each night, so we have 4 missions left.
Nice. Cool.
But each time you go into it, the board there's like it's a double-sided board, and it kind of looks like an office building or whatever, some kind of building. And you have to put down a bunch of clues and stuff, and you're spending the game again. It's a co-op board game, so you're finding the clues, and then you're trying to figure out what the answer is to a different like code breaking task for each mission. And it'll have a different one. Sometimes it'll be like it'll just say like, what's the answer to the number sequence, and then what you're slowly revealing parts of the code, and then you need to figure out okay, what's the pattern of numbers going, what's the one number they want us to find, yada yada yada. What's really cool about it is outside the game, there's a comic book that you're reading along with it. Depending on if you succeed in the mission or fail in the mission, will change which parts of the comic book you read. So there's kind of like branching narrative going on. The game says you can finish it even if you're like losing a lot of the missions, but it might just alter some of the stuff later on. We've so far finished all of them except for one. We failed on one of them. But what's really cool, I'm going to talk really vaguely about this because it was such a cool little thing. Is parts of the game happen outside of the board game in terms of like the code breaking stuff. And it's just extremely cool. So if you're a fan of co-op board games, if you like, I don't know, spy code breaking kind of riddle stuff like that, I highly recommend checking out The Initiative. It has definitely been like a highlight of board games for me, and it's almost something I wish I could like bring up to my family and be like, hey, we're gonna play some of this Christmas, but I can't replay the missions, which is a bummer. So I can't really share in the excitement with new people. I have to just tell people, go play this and just trust me and tell me how it is, how you liked it. But anyways, back to some video games. I've been playing Sable, which came out on Game Pass a couple weeks ago. And this game is basically Breath of the Wild without combat, which has been pretty fun for me. So, it even has like a stamina meter when you're climbing or running that pops up on the side. You have a glide ability that you get pretty early on. It is very much like if Breath of the Wild was just focused on, hey, traverse this world and come across some weird structure and then do some kind of like platforming puzzles to get to the top of it, and there's chests and whatnot. But I'm liking Sable quite a bit. And one of the best parts about it is the art style. It looks like a
Yeah.
very kind of like minimalist Borderlands. If they didn't have as much like contour lines and details going on, it's like extremely cell shaded with everything kind of outlined. And they do some really cool stuff with color as there, there's obviously like a day night cycle, and like the color palette will get like mute and toned down and almost grayscale at night, and then in the mornings everything's kind of like a pastel-y light color. Midday everything's bright and vibrant. The game
Here it
just
is.
looks incredible.
It's called a Mobius art style, is how a lot of people refer to it. I couldn't remember the name for the life of me. I had to look it up here, but yeah,
Okay.
it's super,
I haven't
super
heard that,
cool.
but okay.
Moebius. If people want to check that art style out, that's what it looks like.
But yeah, it's really cool. If you like Breath of the Wild, I think you'll really enjoy Sable. You get like a cool hover bike right away, which is pretty fun. And it's just a cool exploration game. You'll just come across people and they'll be like, "Hey, can you find me some like 5 larvae shells?" And then you have to go find like the beetle nest and sneak your way in there and climb around and get some It's really enjoyable. I'm liking it quite a bit, so I'm going to be playing through all of that for
Game
sure.
Pass game,
and it's
too.
on Game Pass.
Yep.
Yeah, Game Pass. And then speaking of Game Pass, just today I played through the entirety of the Procession of Calvary, which
Okay.
is like a 1 hour long game, maybe 90 minutes if you're really exploring. I think you two would both really like this game because it is a point and click adventure game that had. Do you guys remember the show Angela Anaconda?
Yeah.
It kind of has that art style where it's like
Oh,
pictures that are
God.
moving. However, all of the paintings are Renaissance era paintings.
Okay.
And it's like, let me just read the description from Steam.
Mhm.
Pilfer from pirates, conspire with cardinals, and perform miracles with an incompetent magician. Procession of Calvary is a Python-esque adventure game made from Renaissance paintings.
It looks like Monty Python's cutscenes that they used to do between skits.
Yes. It's a spiritual. The developer's name is Joe Richardson. He made something similar to this before called Four Last Things that I found out after playing this. This is a spiritual successor to that, and he's working on a third one, and it's kind of like a Renaissance painting trilogy. But it seems like his style is these Angela Anaconda animation-esque games. This is the first one I've come across. It's on Game Pass. It's really funny. It's extremely wacky in terms of like some of the things you're gonna come across. Highly recommend checking out like a trailer, looking it up on Steam. Again, it's like an hour-long game. And just a quick pro tip: check out the options menu. You won't regret it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's just a pretty funny gag in the options menu. I don't want to spoil it, but again, that's called the Procession to Calvary. Report back. I would love to hear if people ended up liking this game because it's goofy and one of the funnier games I've played in a long time. So I'm definitely gonna like look into his previous one, Four Last Things, and whatever he puts out next. Which he has announced the name of it, but I can't quite remember what it's. Death of the Reprobate, I think is what it's called.
That sounds familiar. Okay.
You have a sword in this game. You can choose to just kill anyone who's presenting you a puzzle of which you have to get through and just move along if you'd like. But maybe some consequences will happen if you cut everyone in half. I don't know. You should try it. I will say though, one negative about it is kind of pixel hunty, and some of the things you have to do, it's like I would have never even guessed that's an option.
Oh, you're unselling me.
No, I totally get it. So actually, when I came across, like the first time I got stumped, I was like, I'm just gonna look up a guide, and I ended up just following a guide. And at that point, it was like, okay, I'm having a great time because now I'm just getting to experience all the wackiness of it without any of the headache. Because there isn't really puzzles in here. A lot of it is just like you need to get this item and bring it to this person, and then get this item and bring it to this person. But it could do better with highlighting like, oh, I was supposed to jump out this window. I didn't even know that was an option, and I didn't feel like waving the mouse around every inch of the screen. So maybe play along with a guide for a bit. give it a try at first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty cool little game.
Cool.
And that's all I've been playing. So let's do some news.
Hell happened with Randy Pitchford?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
This is just weird. I mean, nothing like bad happened this week with Randy Pitchford. Randy Pitchford is stepping down as Gearbox Software's president, but will remain CEO and president of the Gearbox parent company and shift his focus towards film and TV with the newly formed Gearbox Studios.
He's sick of games and wants to go Hollywood. Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
But he decided to go to Hollywood like the exact week that the build-up for a strike is starting. So
starting? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, like not starting, but like the go signs for it are available now. I forget what the whole deal was with the production crew strikes.
Is this a strike?
I think their union okayed a strike. Basically, is what happened.
For what? For his specific company or for all?
No. It's like all of Hollywood, like all the production companies, like the union for production companies.
I hadn't heard about this. Okay. But anyway, Gearbox Studios, it is the company working on the Borderlands live action movie. Obviously, I'd have to assume more is coming if he's putting all of his, if he's gonna
go full time.
That, and I'm sure that's probably part of it full time. But yeah, I don't know what else the Gearbox Studio is going to be making. They publish Risk of Rain movie.
That'd be cool.
Would it? There's not much of a story there. I don't know if that would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
I like that game. I like both those games. I don't know if there's a movie in there.
It would just have great music. That's all I need.
Anyways, maybe there'll be less magic tricks at Borderlands announcement events.
Probably not.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
Maybe there'll be less Claptrap. Maybe he was the reason. Or maybe there'll be more Claptrap and he was holding it back the whole time. Only one way to find out. Twitch got hacked this last week.
Dude, getting hacked is a light term for it. They got completely fucking rolled. It's real bad.
Yeah.
Did this affect you at all, John?
It might. So right now, basically what they've confirmed was in the leak was the entirety of the website.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah, already a really bad start. They found a bunch of things in it as well, like a competitor to Steam that Amazon was working on, like a VR game that they were working on for that as well, and reports for monetary reports for all of their partners.
Yeah,
from 2019 August onwards. So that's what the internet was kind of freaking out over. But A, the person who dropped it said there's going to be a part 2 next week. And B, there is some murmuring that there might actually be more information in there. Like they've said no credit cards or anything were released. No addresses, but there's rumblings that there might actually be some addresses hidden somewhere else. So I'm very jazzed about that.
Is out. That's right. Guess we'll see what happens. Keep your fingers crossed, I guess.
Yeah.
It affected us. We had to change our stream key.
Oh yeah, no, they forced every stream on Twitch to change stream key.
I mean, it literally affected everybody because every single account's information is in their hands. Whether or not you have 1 follower or a million, they have your information.
Yeah.
Next story here is going to get a little bit harder to purchase games on the PS3 or PlayStation Vita. It's actually a really odd set of loopholes you have to jump through now. So starting on October 27th, PS3 and PS Vita PSN stores will no longer use a credit or debit card or PayPal. To purchase on those stores, you need to add funds to your wallet using a PSN gift card, or you can use the regular payment methods on desktop, mobile, PS4, or PS5.
What?
Okay.
So they're removing so you can't go on a PS3 and use your debit or credit card to buy a game now. You have to buy it somewhere else and then download it to your PS3 or Vita.
I'm sure there's
Unless
a
you have to-
reason, but I'm trying to think of what it is.
I'm assuming they're just trying to make it difficult so people will stop doing it. Since they wanted to close these stores down, remember? And then enough people were like, "No, I want it." So they made it a little harder. And I bet it's going to get a little harder and a little harder until like no one's doing it, and then they can just like quietly shuffle it under the rug.
Do you have to
definitely plan?
I know if you're a company, you have to pay a little bit on every transaction for debit and credit transactions. I don't think you do PayPal because PayPal just takes their cut anyway. Does this have anything to do with that? Like the thing that gets me is that it only is a problem if you're doing it through the system. You can still do it through the store fine. That's what it's like. I don't think that it has anything to do with that.
I mean, I couldn't tell you if the percentage that a credit card company gets is part of it. They didn't say we're doing this because, they just said, hey, we're doing this. So I'm just speculating.
Weird.
I think they're just trying to make it a little harder so people will stop doing it.
Yeah, they're trying to phase it out for sure. It must be a monetary thing though, because like, why would you, if it wasn't, why would you phase out any form of making money? So it's just not worth them to put whatever money they need to.
Well, remember, they wanted to take these stores down, so I'm sure it's costing them money to keep them up.
Yeah.
So I bet they're not making much money from these stores. And honestly, how many people are going to go to their PS4 or PS5 and buy a PS3 game and then go to their PS3 and play it? That's probably a very small number of people.
I mean, I guess I'll have to now. My PS3 is right there hooked up. So if I can't buy from it, I guess I have to.
Right. But that's the thing. Are you going to actually do that? And like, how often are you actually going to do that?
I would use just a website. That's kind of how I buy every game on PlayStation. So, yeah. Weird.
Epic Game Store, talking about buying games. They're about to add achievements next week. One of the first games to support the feature will be Rocket League, Hades, and Pillars of Eternity. You can already unlock achievements in some games now, but this will actually like feature like an achievement page, and you can see them and all that kind of stuff.
Because I was going to say achievements have existed for a bit, but there's no page to see them, and they don't give you like a point total or anything. So
yeah, this will be like a full-on feature you can start doing starting next week.
That makes sense. Sure.
Eidos Montreal are coming out with Guardians of the Galaxy in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's excited?
I am. I'm looking forward to it.
I forgot that was so soon. Crap.
I'm at a halfway thumbs up.
Yeah. Yep. Sure.
They've announced that they're switching to a 4-day work week.
Okay. Theoretically, that's good as long as they don't make them crunch on those 4 days even harder. So sure, that's
gonna be the telling point.
I'm assuming they wouldn't. So this is mostly an opinion I was reading from Jason Schreier when he was kind of reporting on it. He made the good point of like right now Montreal's game scene is super weird because like a lot of money is coming in and a lot of people are leaving Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I've seen the Twitter language of it. Ubisoft is like a supermarket for game development at that point. You can just kind of get whatever you want from them. There's so many people leaving Ubisoft. I wouldn't be surprised if more studios around the Montreal area tried to sweeten the deal of getting new talent by saying, hey, we got a 4-day work week too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, 4-day work weeks. Hell yeah. 3-day weekends. I'm a huge fan of 3-day weekends.
I'm a fan too.
I'm a fan of weekends, just in general.
Ooh. You don't discriminate?
Exactly. Weekend's a weekend.
I do. Good. 3-day weekend.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Might as well not even be a weekend if it's
suck.
not 3 days. You know what? I've said this. Ask anyone. I've said this.
Yeah.
Secret best thing about a 3-day weekend? 4-day work week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
They don't tell you that, but it's there.
It's a secret.
Yes, that's the secret. All right. The biggest Kingdom Hearts news Kingdom Hearts related news this week is that the Switch versions are going to be cloud versions.
Which is a bummer.
Now we can move on and not talk about anything Kingdom Hearts related, right?
Thank God.
Yeah, nothing else Kingdom Hearts happened, even remotely.
Yeah. So Kingdom Hearts, I'm not even gonna read these names. I'm too good for that.
1.5 plus 2.5, 2.8, and 3. You can just say
not even the full names.
Yeah, you don't have to say it. Just say the numbers. Because people know what you're talking about.
I don't know that. It might be like, is this 2.8 version final
There's only
chapter
2.8,
prologue,
which
means nothing? Anyways, there's nothing wrong with the cloud game. But those are going to be cloud versions coming to the Switch. I'm actually kind of surprised. I would have assumed at least like the first one would have.
I thought the same thing. I'm like, 3 makes sense, maybe 2.8, but like, how's the first collection not?
Yeah.
I wonder if it's a situation where they couldn't justify the amount of work porting it over into a physical, like a lower quality version, or like if it's just the fact that they had to run everything past Disney. I almost think it's just the fact they had to run everything past Disney. They're like, yeah, just do the cloud version. It's easier.
I would have assumed Disney would have had an easier time understanding Switch version over Switch cloud version. But who knows? We'll never know. Sora's coming to Smash.
Yep. People are very excited.
Paul, you excited?
Couldn't care less. But I'm happy
excited,
for people
John?
that are excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. Sure. He looked fun to play.
Are people seeing him as another sword guy?
That's how I saw him.
Some did, but not super many, I guess.
Okay. Because like when I look at him, it's like, oh, it's a sword. He looks like he has a sword. It's called a key blade, and he has a counter. That sounds like a sword guy to me.
Yeah, but his counter doesn't work from behind. So, and he's also like apparently stupid light, so like he can just get thrown off really easily. So I'm just excited to see how he plays, like to actually controls him.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I thought Sora was in Smash already. I had to confirm with somebody that he was.
Fair enough.
This is the last DLC. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is done. Sakurai can finally rest.
No, next one. He's already
working on the next one.
Think
you think? God, I hope not. I hope he gets like some rest and then he starts working on something that's not Smash for once. I just want him to make something else.
Yeah.
I assumed he was a ghost that was stuck on this planet with unresolved business, and that now
you're free.
I didn't
the shackles
watch the
come off
stream because it was at 7 a.m. and I hadn't woken up yet. But I assumed on that stream his spirit left this planet, and we all watched that together, and we'll always have that. But maybe I'm wrong. Apparently, also there's like nothing else from Kingdom Hearts is in there, no music or anything. So there's probably some like crazy licensing.
Oh no, there's music. There's like 8 songs in there.
Oh, okay. I'm just. Okay,
it's none of the Disney.
Yeah,
stuff
none of the Disney
there.
ties are in there.
So like they show the stained glass of like Sora and all the other characters, and like there's no Donald or Goofy in there or anything like that. The only thing that's even Disney looking that isn't from like Kingdom Hearts straight up is that the Mickey Mouse icon on the keychain.
The 3 circles that you could.
The 3 circles, yeah.
That you could say, no, those are circles. That ain't a mouse, bro. What are you talking about?
3 convenient circles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the music used is like straight up Kingdom Hearts specific music. It's not like anything from any of the Disney movies or anything like that. And there's no appearance of Sora, Donald, Goofy, Mickey, or any of the actual Disney characters.
That would have been crazy if there was, though. Like, come on.
Is his final Smash something noteworthy?
He locks the enemies behind a door and then makes the door explode.
Oh, is that something for Kingdom Hearts? Does he do that?
Sort of. Locking doors is a recurring theme in Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, the key. I could see it. Sure.
Yeah, the key blade is the key to closing all the doors or opening all the doors, depending on which game you're in.
Depending if you're a positive or negative person. Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of.
When one door closes, another one opens.
Yep. Just look at the stretches out as much as possible, aren't you?
No, I'm just saying that was the big message behind Kingdom Hearts, right?
I thought it was like Kingdom Hearts is Light, or Friendship, or The Heart, or whatever they decide to make it this game.
The Animal Crossing Direct is going to be on the 15th. And the last news story, the second last news story is weird. Konami is inviting indie developers to make new games based on some of its classic series.
Is this a news story? I feel like I've heard this before, or am I thinking of a different company?
I don't know. Do you confuse Konami with a lot of other game developers because they don't make much?
Because I've heard this exact same story, like a company inviting indie devs to work with their IPs. I thought it was either Namco or like Taito, which is owned by Square.
Maybe you're thinking of that Ubisoft Joseph Gordon-Levitt thing where they were like, "Hey, why don't you make a bunch of stuff?"
No, I definitely
for
wasn't
Beyond Good
thinking
and
of
Evil
that.
2?
I definitely was not thinking of that.
So this is a contest going on. It's not for like established game developers. It's for like just regular people who want to develop games. And they have a list. So the contest is, if you get selected, if your remake gets selected, they'll give you $18,000, and if they want to go commercial with it, they'll give you like another $200,000.
Okay.
They have an
like
entire list of all the
Yeah.
games you can like pick from, including 6 different Gradiuses. No, sorry, 7, 8, 9 different Gradiuses you can pick from. They just listed everything. Metal Gear Solid is not on here. Surprise. I don't believe Silent Hill's on here either. Twinbee is on here.
Hell yeah. Twinbee's dope.
What about Nemesis 2?
I mean, that's Gradius.
Gopher's Ambition Episode 2?
Yeah. I think Nemesis is like a spin-off of Gradius. It's like a weird rename.
Puyan's on here.
Yeah, Puyan. Nathan will be happy.
Yep. I was thinking the same.
So many that I've never even heard. What is Hector 87?
That is probably Starship Hector, if I had to guess, which is a top-down shmup. But that's
Space
that's a
Manbo.
Hudson Soft license. Would you say Space what?
Space Manbo.
That sounds awesome. What is Space Manbo?
I don't know. These also may have been translated. Yeah, these are translated from Japanese, so the wording might be off.
No, Space Manbo is a horizontally scrolling shooter developed and published by Konami for the MSX2 in 1989.
Labyrinth Temple Dababa.
Okay, I finally
Sounds
looked
like
at the
basically all
list.
their arcade stuff is up for grabs.
It's all their arcade
so-
stuff, yeah.
Anyways, that's a thing that you guys could take a part of if you wanted to. And this
Cool.
last news story is Xbox is adding into their store a bunch of accessibility tags so that people can now look up what accessibility options each game has.
Cool. Okay.
And the games have to hit certain criteria to get the specific tag. So they give an example here, like a game with subtitles that can't be resized, for instance, wouldn't meet the bar for the subtitle options tag.
Awesome. Okay.
Makes
So
sense.
there's actually a bit of criteria. Right now, this feature is only available to one of their like beta rings. It's like I forget the name of it. There's like an accessibility specific beta ring. But it is going to be coming out to all Xboxes and Xbox profiles in the future. But hey, that's good for them. The article specifically mentions now, like, gamers will not have the hope is that gamers will not have to go to like accessibility rating websites.
Yeah.
Because there's already sites that do this kind of stuff. They can just do it from the store, which that is what they should definitely have. Good for them.
Industry standard setting, for sure. It's awesome.
And that's the news. So let's do some questions. And if you would like to send in a question, it's topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. Metroid released 8 minutes ago.
Woo!
Yay!
Sean writes in, hey, Metroid's out.
Good question, Sean. Thanks for writing in.
Yeah. What is Metroid Dread? That's the question. Okay, Matthew, I'll read this first one from Matthew. What is this?
Dude, that's what I'm saying.
All right, I'm just gonna read it.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, I just wanted to share my weird headcanon about how some Pokemon evolutions work. Feel free to give your thoughts about them.
Here we go.
Baby Pokemon that require an incense are actually premature births. What do you think about that, John?
No.
Okay, maybe you'll be more into this one. Pokemon that evolve through evolution stones are actually mutated due to radiation.
I think they already said in canon it's DNA manipulation. So
technically, it's actually true.
so technically, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Trading involves deatomizing and rebuilding the Pokemon. Think of the teleporters in Star Trek. Pokemon that evolve through trading are suffering from a bug in the trading machine that incorrectly reconstructs them.
Yeah, this in
I
my
don't-
mind is actually Mike TV in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where they have the teleporter and they take an image of something, break it up into a million little pieces in the sky, and then it's much bigger or smaller, whichever. So yes, this makes sense.
This would only work if you couldn't stop them from evolving, which you can. So
Ah, good point.
yeah.
That's
So it's
true.
more like it just like it just makes something like it flips a switch basically at that point. So their brain's like, oh, I can become more powerful, but I don't want to. So I think like the reconstructing is partially right.
Sure.
That's it. That's the headcanon.
Good
Okay.
question.
Lineback writes in, which celebrity would you want to play Mario Party with? Sean can pick another multiplayer game.
John Cena. John Cena and Vin Diesel.
Oh, John Cena, like The Rock? Like, who do
Yeah,
you
I
want to
want The
meet?
Rock, John Cena, and Vin Diesel. There you go. They'll be like, why are we not just doing this in real life? Let's just fucking go to like
I'm just
a
thinking
workout
of
park
like
right now.
seeing like all four of you in the living room and to be like, one of these things is not like the others.
Yeah, exactly.
Vin Diesel would be great because he's like
Yeah.
a huge gamer.
That's a great answer.
So
Yeah.
he would nerd out with it. I think Ryan Reynolds would probably be fun. Same with Michael B. Jordan.
Okay.
What about you, Paul? Any thoughts?
I mean, I'm definitely in with Vin Diesel. I think Jack Black would be fun for a while too.
Sure. Yeah.
Just a fun guy.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good choices. Sukasuki writes in and says, has a moral choice in a video game ever shaken your very core? Made you question why? Made you see something inside you that you wish you hadn't?
No.
No. If anything,
Yeah, I
I've been
don't-
like, why are these the options? I
Yeah.
feel like that's more been the case.
Yeah.
Have you
Isn't there
ever
like
been-
isn't there like an ending in a Fallout game where it's just like, why aren't we just sending in the character who's immune to this? Or something like that? Isn't there like, I swear this it's like Fallout 3 or 4, maybe 3, where I don't know if I'm talking spoilers, I guess at this point, but like there's a situation where like you have a partner that would be immune to it and be fine, but your character's just like, no, I'm gonna do it. It's just like, you didn't have to. This is stupid.
I don't know,
Yeah.
I feel like usually in the Fallout ones you can do that scenario, but you need to like pass some skill checks to get those options. But I'm just
That's the original Fallout 3 ending that they patched. Oh, okay. They did fix that. Never mind.
I've never had one that's like shaking me or anything. I'm trying to think about ones that maybe like put me at pause because that's probably the most extreme where I like really had to think about what I was gonna do. I want to say like
Okay.
the end of the first season of Walking Dead had a pretty cool one.
I'm trying to remember specifically which one that was.
With Lee, the main character Lee.
Yeah, but like what choice do you have to make?
I mean, I'm not gonna like say it here because it's like the final thing of the game, but I can tell you offline afterwards. But that one was a
Oh,
really
okay.
made
Sorry,
me
I thought
guess.
you were talking about like chapter 1 or something. Yeah, okay. I know what you mean now.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it was episodic. I thought you were speaking episode. I was like, I don't remember what episode 1 had.
Yeah, no, I was talking about this season.
Yeah, gotcha.
The most recent Life is Strange, there was a couple of choices in that I had to pause and think about for a little bit, specifically at the very end, involving like the antagonist.
I mean, maybe it's a little like bad to say, but the thing that makes me pause in those games for quote unquote moral choices is wondering how it's going to affect my enjoyment of the game after. Like, well, I don't want to lose this character, so I'm going to kill everybody else in this world. I'm going to do that choice because I like this character, because this character is my DPS. Like, it's usually more mechanical of like what I want to continue with, essentially. It's not ever about the morality of that situation because it's a video game and I'd rather have fun than have a moral quandary for a moment.
I think I'm next. The Phantom Aegis. What are your favorite games that are in the Game Pass service? It can even be games that left the service.
Like all of the id Software games, everything Bethesda put on there was a banger when they did that.
I think everything from Bethesda's on there now.
Yeah.
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 I would probably say the same.
Hades is on there. That's
Hades.
a great game.
Yep. Game of the year.
I mean, I'm enjoying Sable right now. That's really good. Coffee Talk, I absolutely loved. Children of Morta is on there, which I absolutely loved. And there's like too much to pick.
Way too many.
Golf with Your Friends is an all-time great. Human Fall Flat, another all-time great.
Sure, yeah.
You keep putting the Forza Horizon games on there, so I just get those for free, and that was awesome. I loved Dirt 5. That was a really good racing game. Looking forward to Back for Blood next week. That's going to be on there.
Yeah, like coming out next week alone, Back for Blood. Riftbreaker is the one nobody's talking about that I've been excited for like a year, and The Good Life, all in within a day of each other.
Yep, The Good Life. I'm looking forward to that. Yep.
All right. Boko writes, how do you approach rating an old game versus rating an
That's
old
why
game?
I was pausing pausing for a second. Like, what? It's the
I
same
think it's
question.
supposed to be new game.
Yeah. How do
Must
you approach rating an old game versus rating a new game? For example, you wouldn't approach rating Final Fantasy VI, released in 94, and Final Fantasy VII Remake, released in 2020, on the same merits, or would you? While both are considered good games by most people and even reviewed similarly, actively comparing them isn't really the same, especially with the jank of older games can bring with them.
Yeah, I feel like to do a proper comparison of an old game and a new game, they've got to be like the same genre. And while they're both RPGs, Seven's like an action RPG with like actual real-time combat, so you can't really compare them. The only thing you can compare on that point is music and like writing. And even then, things are going to be different on that argument. So
Yeah, I almost feel like it would be pretty hard to compare them at that point. I think the only time you could compare them, it would actually be giving the old game a lot of credit because it's able to withstand the test of time.
Yeah.
And I think of
Yeah.
stuff like Mario World is I feel like I could still compare some like platformers to Super Mario World or something like that. But I feel like when you're like rating a game, you have to take into like consideration the context of when it came out. And like similarly for new games, like I think like one thing that comes to mind, I was seeing a lot of people talking about Far Cry 6 this week. It just came out, and a lot of people were upset like it's the exact same formula yet again.
I mean, of course,
taken by itself,
Mhm.
that would probably be completely fine.
Mhm.
But if you played the last few Far Cries, you're probably pretty tired of it, and
Yeah.
it's not going to be as enjoyable as if you had just played Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
So I feel like all that stuff kind of can be brought into rating a game and whatnot, new or old. So it's like, yeah, when it comes out and kind of what's the like environment, so to speak, of the release is definitely something you have to take into consideration.
Sure.
All right. Next up from I Am 3D Homer. Reimagine a game, but all the characters are now either old and tired or cool teens. Characters who are already old and tired are automatically cool teens and vice versa. All the characters get reimagined to your choice. This is literally Gears of War 4 you've described. This is Gears of War 4 because there's a bunch of cool teens and then there's all the characters that from the previous games that are now old and tired. That's what you've described.
True.
So that's my answer. Gears of War 4.
Gears of War.
Well, no, because if you say Gears of War 4, then all your characters are now going to be old that you're playing, and all the side characters are cool teens because you have to switch them.
All right, so Gears of War 3.
Sure, and then and what you're saying is then you're creating Gears of War 4.
Yeah.
I would love a Pokemon game where you don't play as an 11-year-old boy for once or girl. And I think it would be extremely interesting if you actually did get to play like someone that had a life and decided, you know what, I'm going to be a Pokemon master. Like, I would love to see someone like kind of Stardew Valley wise be like quitting their desk job and be like, I'm going to become the best Pokemon master in this entire region.
That would actually be really cool.
Yeah. And so instead of you and like all the other 11-year-old kids walking around, so that would mean all the gym leaders are cool teens and you're like an old person. And I think that would be pretty funny as well. And you would get to beat the shit out of all these cool teens Pokemon and get the badge.
That's a great answer. God damn.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Again, I'm thinking Hitman, but because I don't want a cool teen to be going around murdering a bunch of cool teens, he's just like knocking them out or just like giving them swirlies.
That's kind of bully, right?
And then it is kind of bully, but I still want like the Hitman gameplay and stuff.
Sure.
So I do want you to be like a bully on like a playground, but you're like stealthing your way through it, and it's like, oh, you gave him the wedgie, and that counts as like taking them out or whatever.
It's not a bad one either. I don't know that I have an answer.
Okay. Am I reading the next question?
Yes. I had to think for a second.
BGC Kenny writes, the game rental industry is pretty much dead. I know things like Game Pass can offer a similar thing, but it's not exactly the same. Anyway, what is your favorite game you rented? And what was the last game you rented?
Probably Chrono Trigger for favorite game I rented. Last game I rented? Ooh. I think it was the Saw video game.
Okay.
Cool. Last game I rented was probably... There was one summer where like my friend worked at Blockbuster, so he was just putting aside all the new releases and then holding them for me to come rent. So I don't remember which order they came out in, but that summer I rented Mortal Kombat 9, LA Noire, and Brink. Whichever one of those three came out last is the one I rented most recently. And favorite is probably LA Noire. That's a cool game.
Last one I rented was Ninja Gaiden 2 in the 2000s. Next question from Rinku. With Sugiyama's death, how do you feel on separating an artist and their art? There's some like weird autocorrect going on with these questions that is making it hard to read some of them.
I found it personally to be on a case-by-case basis.
Yeah, I have a pretty fast and loose rule of if the person never harmed another person's autonomy, I'm usually okay with their shitty ideas and their art. So people like Hitler killing millions of people, I will never like anything he's done ever because he's a giant piece of shit.
Or to put in a more reasonable comparison, I used to love Bill Cosby's comedy, but I can't anymore.
Bill Cosby, yeah, giant piece of shit too. if somebody says something racist, it doesn't mean I necessarily hate their art. Like, I don't care if they have terrible ideas about stuff. Sometimes it is pretty much a case-by-case basis, though. And anytime you do bring harm into anybody else, it's basically automatically, I can't separate you from your deed.
Yeah, Sugiyama apparently, from what I heard, was kind of a piece of shit though, and apparently he's also on top of like him being racist and xenophobic. Also, was the reason it was so hard to even do anything with Dragon Quest music up until like recently. Apparently, he would shut down any original productions and a bunch of stuff.
I was going to say, for people who don't know, Sugiyama, composer of the Dragon Quest music, and he passed away recently, I believe.
Yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think this is me, Den's guy. Going forward, do you think that companies will allow you to transfer a purchase license of a cloud game between systems, or will they lock it to specific hardware despite it not using the hardware at all? That's just going to depend entirely on the company. Microsoft, probably. Sony, doubtful. Nintendo, 50-50 shot. But probably leaning more towards no.
I think Microsoft for sure, because they're doing great strides with that stuff. I think Sony most likely, because they're already kind of doing that a bit with PS4 to PS5 games.
But they kind of had to they had to get dragged into that, I feel, because of Microsoft.
Right, and that's the thing is Microsoft's going to keep doing that, so I feel like Sony's going to kind of
compete,
have to, just from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah.
Nintendo, yeah, I'm very curious. I think the big thing that we're going to have to look out for is whatever like the Switch Pro is, if we're going to be able to transfer everything over to that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's going to be two things. If it's a Switch, if it's basically another Switch with better hardware, then I could see the transfer being like, of course that'll work because it's like the same console family. If it is like a new platform though, then that comes to the question: are they going to let us transfer it or not? And I think it's going to be pretty crazy if they don't.
Well, if they're calling it, if they stick with Switch Pro, like they'll do the same thing we did with Wii U, where it runs the originals, so they have to at that point. Yeah.
I just feel like if they don't, like, it's gonna. I mean, they'll get away with it, but it's gonna be so weird because all the other platforms are doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's the other question. Like, how does Nintendo go forward? I can't see a future where Nintendo splits and does a console and a separate handheld ever again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't see them doing a dedicated handheld and a dedicated home hardware anymore. Yeah, either.
Yeah.
I think they realized this was what they should have been doing.
So it's almost like everything going forward is going to be some kind of version of the Switch, or at the very least, it'll be able to do both. It'll be, it'll have that Switch feature that, yeah. So I don't know, man. It seems like it would always be a Switch 2, Switch something, at least in spirit.
Yeah. Is it me again?
He should be.
Got the last one.
All right. Onimetsu. So, I recently bought Superman 64 against my better judgment. Is there a time you bought a bad game of your own volition?
I just pointed at my entire backdrop.
Does the Patreon count as my own volition?
No.
What if I submitted the game?
Yes, then it does.
Okay. Then Quiet Man. What was that game called?
Yeah.
Yeah, Quiet Man.
Quiet Man.
Quiet Man. Okay. I had Quiet Place in my head. Quiet Man. I submitted that game.
Yeah, I submitted one I didn't like at all either. I don't remember which. Let me look it up.
And it won, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I still am waiting for that Fast and Furious game to get on a deep enough discount that I will play it, because I want to know.
Oh yeah, Eagle Island.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that game.
Yeah.
Actually, someone just said John submitted Eagle Island.
Oh, did he?
I did, because I had heard good things, so.
Right on. That's going to do it for questions. If you would like to send a question in for next week, it is topdownperspective@gmail.com, at TDP Podcast on Twitter, the Discord channel, or John's P.O. Box. What are your guys' game of the week?
I guess Hot Wheels.
Cookie Clicker.
I mean, that's
And
also
I was
up there.
going to give it to Sable, but the Procession to Calvary just stole that thunder today.
Okay.
All right, and then if you are a Patreon subscriber, you can check out our first episode of TBP, all about Prisoners of the Ghostland, which stars Nick Cage. That is live. And this Monday, you'll be able to check out our Venom 2 episode of TBP. And then 2 weeks after that, we will be doing a Halloween special episode where we watch and talk about 4 different Halloween specials from past and present. So, other than that, we'll be back next week for a regular show. So talk to you later.
Everybody.
Bye.